Good afternoon, everybody. We're just waiting to make sure all of our social media platforms are up. We're good. Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Windward Planning Commission's meeting. Call to order. The regular meeting of the Windward Planning Commission will now come to order. It's Thursday, December 5th, 2024. The time is 1:10. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. Before I introduce the commissioners, I'd just like to make a note that during testimony or when we are having discussions, you will see the commissioners viewing their laptop screens. And what we're doing is we're actually doing work and doing research. So don't think that we're not listening to you folks, because we are, and we're just trying to refresh our memories, because we do have to deal with a lot of stuff. So I just wanted to make that note before we started today. Thank you. I'll introduce the commissioners. We have Commissioner Lauren Baylog.
Good afternoon.
We have Commissioner Wayne DeLuce. Commissioner Chantel Perrin.
Good afternoon.
Chairperson Dennis Lynn has resigned from the commission to serve in the new Hawaii County Mayor Administration. The commission welcomes a new member today, Commissioner Gordon Takaki. He is representing South Hilo in an at-large seat that was recently vacated when Commissioner Matthias Cush resigned. Welcome aboard, Gordon. Commissioner Takaki. And I am Vice Chair Louis Daniele III, and we have quorum to hold this meeting. From the Office of the Corporation Counsel, we have Deputy Corporation Counsel Suzanne Tipula, attorney for the commission, who is present to advise the commission.
Aloha.
Deputy Corporate Counsel Jean Campbell, attorney for the Planning Department. Representing the Planning Department, Acting Planning Director Jeffrey Darrow is present to advise the commission.
Good morning.
Oh.
Sorry, good afternoon. Used to the morning meeting.
Commissioners, please confirm that you have had an opportunity to review the materials related to the application being reviewed today. Verbal will be fine. I note that each commissioner has verbally confirmed having an opportunity to review application materials and submitted testimony. Housekeeping. Please turn off or silence your cell phones. Public restrooms are located outside in the middle of the building on the Mackay side. If there's anyone here in person who would like to testify, please fill out the yellow sign-up form at the staff table over there by the door. Also, if you have any written testimony that has not been sent in earlier, you may submit it to staff now. Approval of minutes. The approval of the November 1st, 2024 regular meeting and November 4th, 2024 special meeting has been deferred to the next commission hearing in January. Statements from the public on agenda items. As stated in the published agenda, members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item now or at the time the agenda item is called to order. Testifiers on Zoom, please keep your video camera off and audio muted until you are called by the Zoom host to speak. Please note that this is an in-person meeting. In Zoom, the Zoom platform and the YouTube live stream are provided as a courtesy. Therefore, our meeting will proceed even if the Zoom and/or YouTube connections fail. Before we start to receive public testimony, prudence to Rule 1-5 of the Planning Commission, Rules of Practices and Procedures, I would like to remind everyone to be courteous and respectful of all testifiers. Staff members and commissioners, please direct all testimony to me as chair. Testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person for each agenda item. Commissioners, if you have any questions for the testifier, please turn on your mic light after the testifier is finished so that I can acknowledge you. Staff, are there any in Zoom testifiers?
Thank you, Chair. We have two in-person testifiers, Mapuana Waipa and Nancy Cabral. If you could come to the front table, I can swear you in. Please turn on your microphone by touching the green button and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth now before the Windward Planning Commission? Thank you. So Mapuana Waipa, you have signed up to testify on 2 agenda items. You will have 3 minutes to testify on each item. Please let me know when you're finished with the first item so that I can reset the timer. And before you start, please state your name and the town you reside in, and then you may begin.
Aloha mai kako. I am Mapuana Waipa, and I am from Hilo, more specifically Keaukaha. And I'm in, so I can go ahead and testify, okay. I am in opposition to item number 1 and number 2, and I think we've been here as I brought my students here in opposition as well. And the direct impacts to our communities and our families that live in the area. I come from that space. I don't live too far from where it's going to happen. And we currently do not have access in and out both ways. So you'd have to come in one way and come back out the same way out of Keaukaha. And in an afternoon, say on a Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, in doing some research, I've gathered maybe about 200 to 300 cars going in and out of past my home, going towards the beach and coming out in a 20-minute span. And that is without anything going on in my community. So I believe these 2 applicants will make big impacts to my community without realizing how that will impact our families. Our community of Keaukaha, which is directly across there, is a Hawaiian homestead community that is going to be celebrating its 100 years in about a week or so. And I'm not sure if anyone has thought about asking and what would be the outcome of your ask if there was one. And how would that impact? And as a member of a school, as a director of a charter school there in Keaukaha, the 3 schools there are what we call CEP schools, or community eligible participants, which means that all of our students qualify for free lunch. So it directly tells you what the economics of our community is. So I'm here to oppose that. And also to say, as a Native Hawaiian, how would that, was there an analysis done to how I could gather in those spaces? Just to make sure that our gathering rights as Hawaiians, because our students also use the space there to work on projects or to learn about their oceans and their aina. And if that has been done, could that be submitted as well to our community as a whole? So, and to me as well as a neighbor down the road. But I'm going to speak on 1 and 2 at the same time. I think it's the both of them, the kind of impacts that it would make. I know they said affordable housing for the apartments, which is not too far from the 3-story dwelling. So I don't know what affordable housing is if our students are not qualified for free lunch, and how does that get defined? Those are going to make big impacts, because I know number 2, they did come to the community, and that's what it is. They came to the community. What are the results of what the community had asked? Because the last time we were here, there was no results saying what was going to be the impacts, what kind of jobs do we have to be able to afford these homes. So again, that's about it. And on behalf of my students, I'm sure they're watching, because their job right now is to be the best students possible. And then in about a year, they're going to be voters. So it was good too. And I told them I would come here and represent them this time. So again, on behalf of my family and my community, I hope that you take heed to these questions, and I oppose both. Mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony. We appreciate it. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the testifier? Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Aloha, my name is Nancy Cabral, and I am in real estate. I am the owner of Dalem Rentals and Management, and have been a real estate property manager for 46 years in Hilo. I am here completely as an individual and here with no connection or request or anything. But, and I don't, there may not be any opposition for number 7 on Big Island candies. And I saw this come up, and I know that a lot of times people in the community are anti-expansion of businesses and anti-everything. And I just really wanted to support the idea that we have a successful business in our community, and wanted to support that it should be allowed to expand, to employ more people right here in our community. It's in the house lots area that has had a history of tsunami inundation and is in that evacuation area. So I'd like to support that. And don't know what the argument is. It would be against it, but I'm here just in general to support that. And while I have the mic, in Keaukaha, I am the manager of a large number of those high rises condominiums still. And at one point I owned a Li'ikai Apartments right by Onekaka Beach. And so I don't know enough about these individual requests to say too much about them, except that I share the absolute concern that there is no roadway entrance or exit inside of there except the one roadway. And I would consider that to be somewhat critical, because I have managed those properties when I have personally had to run down there to almost every high-rise building, trying to knock on every single door to tell people to be alert, climb on the roof, climb upstairs, or run like hell. So a common sense solution I thought about is, why don't we work with the federal government, get 20 feet off the edge of the airport, go into the airport with 20 feet of a constant roadway, make that a continuous roadway, so that not only would it be there as a secondary exit off the ocean front, but it would help with the unbelievable amount of congestion that is always taking place down there, no matter what. And if it's a beautiful day, God bless, but you can never drive down there because there's so much cars parked. So maybe that should be something that our county, I know it's not your department, but you're somewhere, planning's here somewhere. Okay, Jeff, there's your job. So anyway, like to think that maybe we could look at common sense solutions with our other forms of our government that might help everyone in Keaukaha now and into the future. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your testimony. We appreciate that. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the testifier?
I also want to thank all of you for serving. I know a few of you are new to this, and some have had more experience, and I've worked with Jeff a lot, but I know it's a time-consuming job. I was on the State Land Use Commission for 8 years. Oh yeah, guys, good
Great.
luck.
Thank you.
Chair, you have no more in-person testifiers at this time. Jessica, are there any testifiers on Zoom?
Yes, we have 3 total testifiers wanting to speak at the beginning of the meeting agenda today. The first testifier is Naomi Milamid, testifying on items number 3 and 4, to be followed by Deborah Green testifying on items 3 and 4. Naomi, please unmute yourself and turn on your camera so that you may be sworn in to testify. All right,
Can you hear me?
yes. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
You will have 3 minutes to testify on each agenda item. Since you are testifying on multiple agenda items, please let us know when you're finished with the first item. This will allow us to reset the timer. If you don't indicate when you're done, your total speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name, the town you reside in, and you may begin.
Okay, thank you. My name is Naomi Milamid. I reside in Kapa'au, and I am an Hawaii Island representative of Safe Tech Hawaii. We're a dedicated local coalition with thousands of members who are passionate about safety and technology in Hawaii Island. I'm going to be testifying on number 4, agenda item Bill 194. So we appreciate the efforts of the planning department and respectfully urge a favorable recommendation on this Bill 194 to the council. The Big Island requires an ordinance that achieves a delicate balance, enhancing connectivity while safeguarding the aesthetics, safety, and property values cherished by both residents and visitors. Bill 194 exemplifies such a balance, providing a framework that is mindful of our community's unique needs. As many of you may be aware, a significant court ruling in 2020 highlighted the FCC's oversight in updating acceptable EMF emissions levels, labeling their approach as arbitrary and capricious. Despite this, Bill 194 does not infringe upon federal law. Instead, it responsibly outlines a process for measuring EMF emissions from towers, a task the FCC does not undertake. This process is crucial, particularly considering SafeTech Hawaii's findings of startlingly high EMF levels during our survey of antenna sites on the island. Bill 194 does not regulate cell towers based on environmental concerns. Bill 194's author, Cindy Evans, has done an admirable job navigating the legal landscape while prioritizing community interests. I hope the Planning Commission will recognize and support the strengths of Bill 194 with a favorable recommendation. It is vital that the director retains authority over co-location as well. Those approvals to prevent towers from becoming hazardous due to overcrowding with antennas as outlined in Bill 194. This measure is essential for ensuring structural integrity, minimizing fire risks, and protecting the public. Finally, the requirement for plot plans showing buildings within 300 feet of proposed towers is the least we could ask. No one desires to live or work adjacent to a cell tower or antenna cluster, and this measure helps maintain the quality of life we all value.
You have 30 seconds
In
left.
Thank you. In conclusion, I urge the Planning Commission to consider the strengths of Bill 194 and recommend it favorably. It is a thoughtful proposal that respects both connectivity needs and the protection of our cherished island environment. Now I'll move to item 3, the former planning director's ordinance, proposed ordinance. I'd like to express my concerns regarding the proposed ordinance by the former planning director. First, I want to address the requirement for a statement from the FCC. Request of a statement from a federal agency can be a lengthy process. This requirement could lead to delays that exceed the 60-day shot clock, which would mean automatic permit approval according to state law. Another significant concern is the exemption of 8 zones from setback requirements. This is especially troubling in certain parts of our island where those zones include schools, parks, and residences, like downtown Hilo. These are places we frequent daily. It also leads to unnecessary confusion, whereas the continuity of setbacks across all zones in Bill 194 lends itself to a more streamlined process. This ordinance currently lacks a public liability insurance requirement, and this insurance is essential in protecting the county from potential lawsuits by members of the public who have been harmed by wireless radiation and seek accommodation as covered under the ADA. Hawaii County officials need to be protected. The insurance requirement provides a safety net that could save the county significant financial and legal troubles. Fire safety is another crucial aspect that cannot be ignored. Electrical drawings are critical for ensuring fire safety in any new development or facility, and its inclusion in the ordinance as a part of a clearly outlined application process would be helpful. It's imperative that we prioritize the safety of our residents by including comprehensive fire safety measures. The ordinance does have a section on surveillance cameras used for fire safety, but this is a gray zone as there is no mention of who will be responsible for the cameras, a budget plan, how certain towers will be chosen for the cameras, or any regulations at all stated. I believe the use of these surveillance cameras should not be in a public cellular ordinance. Lastly, it is essential that the proposed facility does not interfere with the county's radio system. Our emergency communication systems are vital for public safety and must remain uninterrupted, ensuring that
seconds
new
left.
developments, thank you. Ensuring that new developments do not disrupt this system is paramount. In conclusion, I urge the commission to reconsider these aspects of the ordinance. We must prioritize the safety, security, and well-being of our community. Thank you for listening to both of my testimonies and your consideration today.
Thank you for your testimony. As always, we appreciate that. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the testifier? Okay, since there's no questions, we'll go on to the next Zoom testifier, please.
Next testifier is Deborah Green. Please unmute yourself and turn on your camera so that you may be sworn in to testify. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter before the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
You will have 3 minutes on each agenda item. Since you're testifying on multiple agenda items, please let us know when you're finished with the first item. This will allow us to reset the timer. If you don't indicate when you're done, your total speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes. Please.
I have a question. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but my testimony kind of is mixed together. So is it possible that I could just have 6 minutes?
Okay. Okay. So
Did
please
you,
state, is
did
that
you
okay?
sign up to testify on 2 items?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I did.
Please state your name, the town you reside in, and you may begin.
Okay, thank you. Aloha Chair and Commissioners. My name is Deborah Green. I live in El Valle. I'm testifying on items 3 and 4. And again, thank you for allowing me to put them together into a 6-minute testimony. I hold a PhD in communication, and I'm the founding director of Safe Tech Hawaii, a grassroots all-volunteer coalition educating and advocating for safe technology across the islands. We're asking for a favorable recommendation for County Council Bill 194 because it represents an ideal balance between the needs of the community for connectivity while providing important safeguards for tower and antenna deployments. It does this by updating the definition of antennas to stay current with these ever-evolving technologies, including 5G small cells. Planning's proposed ordinance omits this so that 5G small cells can be installed anywhere completely unregulated by the county, and that's a huge omission, especially because Hawaii County already has in place a protective resolution regarding 5G deployments that was adopted 4 years ago. So Bill 194 is finally a follow-up to that protective resolution. It creates application requirements and standards, including setbacks and an order of priority for siting wireless facilities, all of which is fully within the purview of planning and is similar to ordinances already implemented in dozens of local jurisdictions across the country. Hawaii County has even more reason to regulate because of aesthetics. Residents and visitors alike don't want towers and antennas everywhere because they're an eyesore and they emit wireless radiation. Sadly, former Director Kern gave Bill 194 an unfavorable recommendation. In my written testimony, I address each one of the concerns raised, and with all due respect, I show that most of them just don't hold up. I can't summarize it all here in the short time I have, so please have a look at my written testimony. In 2018, the state of Hawaii adopted the Hawaii Wireless Fast Track Bill, HB 2651, and one of the sponsors was then legislator Cindy Evans, who actually wrote and introduced Bill 94 here. HB 2651 codifies federal law, and it says that counties can and should regulate wireless facilities. It includes 15 permitting requirements, and it says that the county regulation is needed before any of those requirements can be used. And that's because federal law grants local jurisdictions the authority to regulate towers and antennas. So if any regulation is going to happen, and it needs to, it has to happen here at the local level. In the Federal Telecommunications Act, Congress preserved local government's authority to regulate the placement, construction, and modification of wireless facilities. And that is subject to only 5 constraints. One is you can't discriminate among providers. Bill 194 is fully compliant. Number 2, you can't prohibit personal wireless service. Bill 194 is fully compliant. Number 3, you must act on any application in a reasonable amount of time. Again, Bill 194, fully compliant. Fourth, any decision to deny an application must be in writing with substantial evidence. Again, nothing in Bill 194 violates this. And the last thing is that you cannot regulate on the basis of environmental effects of radiation. But the facilities still have to comply with FCC radiation emission guidelines. And again, Bill 194 is fully compliant. There's nothing that suggests restricting radiation levels beyond the federal guidelines. Instead, the bill actually requires testing the facilities to make sure that they are FCC compliant, which is very important because the FCC does not do field testing. Planning has argued that 194 is excessive and goes beyond planning expertise, but that's not the case. The author of this bill did her homework. She did the research. She consulted with federal, state, and county agencies. There's nothing out of the ordinary in Bill 194 and nothing that conflicts with federal, state, or county law. I have to admit that some of the objections to this bill are kind of strange. For example, planning has inaccurately described the so-called use of private consultants, but that's not the case. A private consultant option is mentioned once, it is optional, and it is at the discretion of the director. That's it. So there's no such thing as requirements for the use of private consultants. And in the recent Leeward meeting, the Verizon rep suggested that electrical engineers don't test wireless radiation levels. Anyone can test those levels. You just have to have the right instrument, which is typically a professional grade oscilloscope. And electrical engineers are the professionals that are trained to use that instrument. So they are the best ones to test levels and to type up a compliance report. There's more, but I think my time is running out. So in closing, I'll just say again, I hold a PhD in communication. I have 20 years of experience in consumer wireless education, and I'm totally happy to stay on and answer any questions. Thank you for your kind attention. And again, we're just asking for a favorable recommendation for Bill 194.
Thank you for your testimony. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the testifier? Nothing? Okay, let's move on to the next testifier, please.
Next testifier I have is Isla Javeri. Please unmute yourself and turn on your camera so that you may be sworn in to testify. Isla, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, perfect. Please
Okay.
raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission?
Yes, I do.
You will have 3 minutes and I will let you know when 30 seconds remain. Please state your name, the town you reside in, and you may begin.
Hi, my name is Ila Javeri, and I reside in Hawaii in Kohala on the Big Island. And I'm here to testify in favor of Bill 194. I'm an acupuncturist and herbalist, and I've been practicing for 28 years. And I know you don't make decisions based on health issues directly, but I can see that indirectly it does impact your decision, because if there are health issues, then of the population, then there's a possibility of having legal issues. And so having an insurance provision, having a public liability insurance requirement makes a lot of sense. And I just thought I would explain a little more again about the health issues, since that's my background. I've spoken with you before, but I thought maybe you haven't caught everything I've said. So over the course of my practice, I've seen a big change in the population. In the first part of my practice, the first 10 years or so, I saw a very different conditions. But then I started to see people who had much more issues with their ears, and some people noticed that when they like ringing in their ears or eczema in their ears, which changed when they stopped using something on their ears, and more issues with people's ability to focus once there were EMFs, once there was radiation from cell phones and Wi-Fi, and much more anxiety and depression, and a change where when my patients stopped using devices as much or stopped completely, they noticed a change. And so from my personal experience, I can see that there's a trend in that direction, a trend for things getting worse overall, and the trend where people who made changes and decreased their exposure got better as far as insomnia, emotional issues like depression and anxiety, and skin issues. Those were the main things I saw, but some people end up having palpitations, some people end up having like a vibrating feeling, some people end up having symptoms of heat, and many people end up having a harder time focusing. And there are much worse things
30 seconds left.
with the So, so thank you for your time, and I hope you make a good decision. I'm in support of Bill 194. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. As always, commissioners, do we have any questions? Okay, thank you again. Is that it for the online testifiers?
Yes,
Okay, great. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, we have agenda item number 1. Applicant Teal Wang, consideration and adoption of proposed finding of fact, conclusion of law, and decision in order for denial of special management area use permit to construct 3-story single-family dwellings and related improvements. One single-family dwelling will be constructed on each parcel. The 3 parcels total 24,250 square feet and are located within special management area. The subject properties are located at the end of Machida. Thank you. Machida Lane. Approximately 300 feet east of Onikaha Road, Keokaha, South Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 32-1-014, parcel 44, 45, and 46. Motion for action for adoption of proposal finding of fact, conclusion of law, and decision order. Commissioners? Okay, do we have a motion for action from the commissioners? Okay, I'll make a motion. Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to Okay, so I'll make a motion for action. I move that the proposal of findings of fact, conclusion of law decision in order for denial of special management area permit PL-SMA 2024 48 be approved and adopted as amended. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Takaki. Discussions. Could I have a roll call, please, of the motion?
Excuse me, Chair, just for the record, there's no testimony on this item.
Okay, thank you.
And Chair, I just want to be clear, I explained to the testifier who did not support these agenda items that explained that these were the denials, not the applications. So
Okay.
just in case there was other folks that were confused.
Thank you.
Chair. If I could, we did have a submitted testimony, and so it was making its way. This is it. There's two of them. They're at the same. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chair, I was incorrect. We actually have two people signed up to testify in person.
Okay, so we'll take those. Okay, so right now we're going to take a 2-minute recess so we can review the new documents. Thank you. All right, good afternoon. We're going to come back from recess. Thank you. We'll just wait till Zoom is back up. Okay, okay, great. Okay. We're back at 1:48 PM. Commissioners, did you have a chance to review the material that was passed around? Yes, verbal. Great. We will have testimony. I think there are some in-person people who are going to testify, so we're gonna let that happen right now.
Thank you, Chair. So we have Denise Colgrove and Sky Zember. If you could come to the front table so that I could swear you in. Please turn on the microphone in front of you. There should be a green dot. And raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth now before the Windward Planning Commission? Yes. Thank you. You will have 3 minutes and I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds remaining. Please state your name and the town you reside in, and then you may begin.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. My name is Sky Zember. I live at 6 Machida Lane. And I'm
Excuse me, could you speak into the mic? Just pull that up. There you go. And
my name's Sky
come a little
Zember.
closer.
My name is Sky
There you go.
Zember.
Thank you.
I live at 6 Machida Lane, and thank you for your time. I'm concerned about the first agenda. We were here in September 24th, and we had a hearing and about this project, and you folks denied it based on the septic system, saying that it would be better if this project. Okay, so backing up. So right now we're talking about one house, but originally this project was 3 houses. We called them monster houses. And the Planning Commission was concerned about the effect it would have because of the sewage treatment plant. We had people coming and giving testimony that over time, because of global warming and the ponds that are everywhere in that area, that their proposed sewage treatment might very likely not be effective, and that you folks recommended they look at connecting to the sewage system along Onikaka Road. That was one of the reasons it was denied. The other reason was because of the road access, which is a very narrow dirt road with no maintenance agreement, with a 90-degree turn that fire engines cannot get through. It's a one-way in, one-way out. After the horrible experience of Maui, I think we'll all agree that if there's an emergency, that these roads that nobody can get out can be blocked very easily and people are trapped. And also, you folks that were here last time were concerned because of the ambience and the cultural significance of Onikaka Beach Park. The local people that are here have been bringing their children there for generations. And the school, the local school that is there, the Hawaiian children come down and they experience their heritage there. As natural as possible, the beautiful tide pools, the ocean, the Hawaiian communities down there in the evenings playing slack key guitar. People are having their birthday parties there. It's a part of Keaukaha. And to see it with these 3 big homes going in at the end of it really changes that whole environment. And then the big one is, I was just talking to Alex about it, so I might be wrong, but when this was denied, it says on planning.
You have 30 seconds left.
30 seconds, okay, 9/11, it says that no new application for the same property can be submitted. It has to wait 2 years unless there's significant changes. And that includes any part of the project that you folks denied, even including if it's one house. If that one house was a part of the project that was denied, and according to the rules here, they are supposed to wait 2 years before submitting a second application.
Your 3 minutes are
Thank you
finished.
for your
Thank you.
time.
Okay, great. Thank you for your
Do you have any
testimony.
questions?
Oh, thank you for your testimony. I'd like to reiterate that we are just going over the testimonies that we had at the previous meeting about this issue. So that motion sits, right? Yeah, would you please?
Just to clarify for the audience, all that is happening today is that we're memorializing what happened on September 5th. We are simply reviewing the actions of September 5th, and we will sign off on those actions. There is not going to be a different outcome today.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, we have any questions?
Chair.
Yes.
Thank you. The reason that this testifier had brought up this other matter that's come up is what's happened is when we first met with the applicant, they approached us and they wanted to do 3 dwellings. In HRS 205A, as well as in our Planning Commission Rule 9, it allows you to come in and be exempt when you do 1 dwelling in the SMA. We told them that if you come in with 3 dwellings as 1 applicant, it's going to be part of a larger development, which is going to trigger an SMA major and come before the Planning Commission. They chose to go forward and submit an SMA application. Unfortunately, that application was denied based on the reasons within the findings of fact conclusions of law. There is a section under 911 that this testifier referred to that says that the applicant cannot submit another application to the commission within a 2-year period for the same or any part of that particular project. What the applicant did was submit a 1 assessment application that goes to the department, which in reality, they didn't even need to do that because it was not a shoreline parcel. So just like anybody else in the SMA, they had received the exemption that's granted by law for that construction of the first single-family dwelling. We explained to them that if they come in with any other portion of that, any other dwelling, it will trigger the major unless it's other applicants, like another landowner or something. So that's what's happening now that you are bringing up to the commission at this point. It's not a matter before the commission. It's a separate matter that goes to the department. Okay,
Thank you for clarifying.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. We can go on to the next testifier, please.
Yes, my name is Denise Colgrove. I own the house at 12 Pachita Lane, and I also speak for my next door neighbor, Bev Fuller. I was confused as to what this meeting was. I thought it was to approve or not approve the single family dwelling that the Wags have put forth. And in their proposed project, there's something here that is very confusing to me. They say that it's going to be a 2-story house. The first floor is the parking, and the second floor is a lanai. And I'm wondering where the 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms are.
Excuse me. We're only talking about what we talked about before, not the
Okay,
new
so
one. Go back to,
we're going back to the 3.
correct, yes.
Well, it's the same old and what we've said before. Sorry, we misunderstood what you were doing here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners? Okay, so we're going to close public testimony at this time. And we have a motion on the floor. It was seconded by,
Mr. Deleuze. It was seconded by him.
okay. I
No?
think it was Commissioner.
Oh, I only heard his microphone. So, okay. So this is to approve the decision in order for denial.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Vice and interim chair Daniele,
Aye.
Commissioner Takaki, Commissioner Baylog,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
and Commissioner Perrin.
Aye.
The motion carries with 5 votes.
Thank you. Now we're going to go on to item number 2. Okay, agenda item number 2, Neil J. Singy, PL-SMA-2024-60, consideration and adoption of proposed finding of fact, conclusion of law, and decision in order for denial of special management area use permit to construct a 4-story, 41,600 square foot apartment building containing 17 rental units and related improvements on a 0.445 acre parcel within the special management area. The subject property is located on the north side of Aina Ole Street, approximately 350 feet southwest from the intersection with Oni Kaha Road, Keokaha, South Hilo, Hawaii, DMK 32-1-014, parcel 2. Do we have any testifiers on this agenda item?
No, Chair.
Great, thanks. Do we have a motion for action?
I move that the proposed findings of facts, conclusions of law, decisions, and order for denial of special management area permit number PLSMA 2024-000048 be approved and adopted as amended.
Great. Do I have a second on that?
Just to clarify, I believe that's PLSMA 2024-000060.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Below it said 48. Yes, PLSMA 2024-000060.
Great. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Baylock seconded. A roll call? Any discussion? Okay, if there's none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
and Commissioner Takaki,
Aye.
and Vice and interim chair Daniele.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries with 5 votes.
I need a motion to continue on item 3 until after item 4. So do I have a motion to hear item 4 first instead of item 3?
I move to continue item number 3 until after item number 4 so that a comparative analysis of the 2 bills can be presented to the commission.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Verbal? Aye. Great, thank you. Any opposed? Okay. Okay. Initiator, County Council PL-CCI-2024 000009. Bill 194, an ordinance amending Chapter 25 zoning, Articles 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2016 edition as amended relating to telecommunication antennas and towers. The purpose of this amendment is to implement a uniform, comprehensive regulatory framework for the development, assigning, installation, and maintenance of telecommunication antennas and telecommunication towers. Staff presentation, please.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the Windward Planning Commission. Before you today, we have the County Council initiated Bill 194 relating to telecommunication antennas and towers. Now, this presentation was given in November to some of the staff or some of the commissioners, but we're just going to go over it again. I don't think everyone that was here then is here today. So the purpose of Bill 194, as stated, is that it does introduce standards and application requirements that prioritize the careful design, siting, and maintenance of telecommunication infrastructure to minimize visual and operational impacts, enhance safety, and ensure adherence to federal and local regulations. The proposed amendments include but are not limited to the following changes. First, it amends the definition of telecommunication antennas and creates a new definition for telecommunication towers. It creates an additional plan approval application requirements for telecommunication antennas and towers. Additionally, it creates standards for telecommunication antennas and towers, including increased setbacks and an order of priority for siting of those antennas and towers. And it removes the requirement to secure a use permit prior to establishing a telecommunication antenna and tower, and adds telecommunication antennas and towers as a permitted use by right in the RS, RD, RM, RCX, RA, FAA, IA, and O, also known as open zoning districts. With this change, telecommunication towers and antennas will be permitted in all zoning districts by right. So the planning department has the following concerns that we think are particularly significant and warrant careful consideration. First is excessive requirements. Next is enforcement and jurisdiction issues. Third is the use of private consultants. And lastly, it's the prioritization for the siting of the towers. So of the specific sections, the planning department wants to go over a specific analysis over which section they feel is excessive, which is proposed section 25.274.1. The proposed change includes that a plot plan showing the location of the proposed antenna or tower and all buildings and uses within 300 feet thereof be included in the plan approval application. Some of the concerns that the planning director has with this is that this requirement is to provide a site plan displaying all buildings and uses within 300 feet of the subject parcel, and we do find it to be excessive. A detailed rationale for including all nearby buildings and their current uses has not been provided. Therefore, the planning director does not support this requirement. The next is the proposed change to 25.274.5, and that removes the statement from the Federal Communications Commission that the application complies with the regulations of the commission, or a statement that no such compliance is necessary. That's currently in our code, and it has been a past practice of the department. And in the planning director's bill, we are keeping that. However, Bill 194 is requiring that to be removed and be replaced by a report prepared by a person who is licensed in the state of Hawaii as a professional electrical engineer, certifying that the proposed use complies with all applicable standards and regulations, including those related to radio frequency emissions of the Federal Communications Commission and the state of Hawaii. So some of the planning director's concerns with this is that, one, the FCC already regulates the RF emissions. An additional report is considered redundant. Two, it places the responsibility on the planners who do lack technical expertise to review the technical engineering reports. And lastly, this could conflict with federal law, as local governments cannot impose stricter RF standards than the FCC. So the following proposed sections of Bill 194 are seen as exceeding our zoning authority. Proposed section 25.274.6 should really be governed by the county building code. Proposed section 25.274.7 should be governed by the county fire code. Proposed section 25.274.8 should be governed by the State Department of Health regulations. Proposed section 25.274.12 should be governed by the county flood code. Proposed section 25.274.13. This addresses maintenance requirements that would not fall under the normal scope of the zoning code. And lastly, proposed section 25.4.12I, 3 and 4. These pertain more to operational and engineering standards that are typically governed by building codes or electrical regulations. The following proposed section in Bill 194 does request the use of private consultants, and that isn't found in proposed section 25.4.12F, which would allow for the director to engage with a private consultant to inspect and determine whether the proposed use violates any applicable standard of the Federal Communications Commission, provided that the time during which the private consultant is so engaged shall not count towards the time limit set forth in subsection E of the bill. The planning director has the following 4 concerns. First, engaging with a private consultant may significantly raise costs for the county, creating unnecessary financial burdens. Second, the current wording suggests that the consultant's determination occurs after plan approval, at which point the next step is really for an applicant to come in and secure a building permit and construct the tower. Third, it would be more logical to hire a consultant before final plan approval rather than afterward. And lastly, relying on a private consultant could introduce delays in the approval process, leading to lengthy and unpredictable timelines for applicants that may not occur within the 60-day approval timeframe, which is required under HRS. The following proposed section of Bill 194 does require a tower siting prioritization, and that is in proposed section 25.4.12H. This proposed change would require telecommunication and antennas and towers shall be sited in accordance with the following order of priority. First would be on building sites with existing telecommunication antennas or towers. Second would be on industrial zone lands. Third would be all other lands exclusive of industrial zone lands and residential zone lands. And lastly, it would be residential zone lands. So the planning director's concerns include the following. First, it's unclear how staff should prioritize applications across all of these zoning districts. Next, it lacks guidance on whether applicants must analyze unviable lower priority sites. Third, it's uncertain if staff must deny applications for underserved areas without proper zoning, or do staff suggest alternative sites? Fourth would be the prioritization could delay permitting, which would then exceed the 60-day approval timeframe. And lastly, enforcement of this section still remains undefined and unclear. So the final review of Bill 194 and the concerns with it. My apologies. So the extensive plan approval requirements exceed the land use and zoning expertise. Imposing these requirements could create an excessive regulatory burden, hindering telecommunication infrastructure and deployment. The lack of flexibility, the bill's design requirements, the siting prioritizations do not allow for flexibility needed to serve areas with the highest demand. This inflexibility may lead to impractical outcomes due to the county's diverse topography and development patterns. And lastly, the potential conflicts with state law. This could cause unnecessary delays with compliance challenges with Hawaii Revised Statute Section 46-89. On your screen, we have an analysis of Bill 194 as well as an analysis of the PD initiated bill. So first, in Bill 194 outright, it is the removal of the use permit requirements for all telecommunication antennas and towers. You will see that both Bill 194 and both the planning director initiated bill have the same requirement. Both of them are removing them from the use permit requirement. Next is a plot plan showing the location of the proposed antenna or tower. Bill 194 does require a plot plan. However, it goes beyond to also require that all buildings and uses within 300 feet be shown on the plot plan, whereas the planning director's bill is just asking for a plot plan showing the location on the building site of the proposed antenna or tower. Section 25.274.5 is a report prepared by a person. For Bill 194, it is a report prepared by a person who is licensed in the state of Hawaii as a professional electrical engineer, certifying that the proposed use complies with all applicable standards and regulations, including those related to radio frequency emissions of the Federal Communications Commission and the state of Hawaii. Whereas Section 25.274.4 of the Planning Director Bill is just a statement from the Federal Communication Commissions that the application complies with the required regulations of the commission, or a statement that no such compliance is necessary. In Section 25.4.12A of Bill 194, you can see that it does require that a telecommunication antenna or tower, including any co-location of a new antenna upon an existing tower, shall be permitted in any zoning district, provided that the director has issued plan approval for such use. Whereas the planning director's bill, as shown on the right of your screen in Section 25.4.12A, just states that the telecommunication antenna or tower shall be permitted in all zoning districts, and then goes on to discuss the co-location requirements, which we had discussed earlier in around September, about the substantial change which would require a new plan approval requirement. So some similarities with Bill 194 and the Planning Director initiated bill include the setbacks. Both bills do require 120% feet of the tower height from the property line. Bill 194 does require a 1,000 foot from any property line of any hospital, school, or residential districts setback. The Planning Director initiated bill does require a 1,200 feet from any nearby residents and schools. In addition, the Planning Director's bill does go on to allow for telecommunication towers located within the V, CV, CG, CV, MCX, ML, MG, CDH zoning districts should be exempt from any setback requirements. And both bills have a decommissioning plan / an abandonment of the tower plan, as shown on the bottom of your screen. On your screen, these are just the different sections of Bill 194 that do differ from the Planning Director's bill. That is Section 25.274.2, which requires elevation drawings, 25.274.6, which requires electrical drawings, 25.274.7, which requires fire safety requirements, Sections 25.274.8, which requires a statement from state DOH for noise levels, 25.274.9, which requires a statement on possible interference with county radio systems, 25.274.12, which is an analysis of soil conditions and flood hazard requirements, 25.274.13, which is a maintenance plan, 25.274.14 is a copy of all required licenses, 25.274.15 is a declaration that the tower shall be operational within 2 years. 25.274.16 is a light fixture requirement. 25.4.12F is the private consultant requirement. 25.4.12G is a radio frequency exposure level requirement. 25.4.12H is a prioritization level requirement. 25.4.12I is a design requirement. 25.4.12J is an underground requirement. 25.4.12K is a restriction of outdoor facilities. And lastly, 25.4.12L is a public liability insurance requirement. Right now, the Planning Director is recommending that the Planning Commission send an unfavorable recommendation of Bill 194 to the County Council as it's currently written. And with that, I can turn the floor back over to the chair. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that presentation. Let's see. I believe that Councilwoman Cindy Evans, who is the introducer of the bill, 194, will be present on Zoom to answer any questions. Oh, she's here in person. Great. Okay. Okay, you can come up and testify. Oh.
Good afternoon. I believe I'm testifying as a citizen because my term ended at noon on Monday. Right?
Could we please swear her in?
Do you affirm to tell the truth today now before the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, all of you. It's great to see you, and Planning Director Daro, good to see you too.
Thank you very much for your service over the past couple of years. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure working with you.
Yeah, appreciate that statement. Thank you. Well, it was kind of an awkward situation. So what I did is I did write a 4-page testimony written to try to explain how we got where we're at, because there was a long, over a year amount of time that I spent working with my constituents who were in Waikoloa and North Kohala, and then the people on Maui who have a real interest in this. And as we kept working through it and look at other jurisdictions across the whole United States, we realized that we were starting from basically nothing, because the code was pretty silent, to actually expanding a real code on how we're going to deal with our telecommunication towers and antennas, and finding out that we have the right to do that. But not only that, I believe the public is now at a point of wanting accountability and transparency and standards and requirements in place, so that they feel that we as government is actually looking more closely at this situation. So that was my starting point. When I wrote the bill and I sent it to Corporation Counsel, Betsy Strantz, Corporation Counsel, advised me that the planning department realized they were out of compliance because the Hawaii State Legislature passed a bill that said you had to make a decision within 60 days. That threw it out of the plan use permitting process. So we had to go to plan approval. And she said they're working on that. I did not know that. And I had not intended to even have that in my bill, because I was working more on citing requirements and standards that I felt the public was asking me to do. And so it ended up this really interesting conversation with the planning director and then also the deputy planning director. We had several conversations. I shared my bill. At the time, I was told that the department was not yet ready with their bill. And so mine had moved so far that I said, well, I'll wait a few months. But if you're not going to be prepared, I will continue putting it in the process. So what happened is we're in process. So now you have 194 and you have the planning directors. And I believe there is some differences and there's some similarities. I personally, from my experience as a state representative, have found it's not uncommon to have 2, 3, and 4 bills
You
moving
have
at the
30
same
seconds
time.
left.
Pardon?
You have 30
30
seconds.
seconds. It's not uncommon to have several, because as you do your research and you do your writing and people see things from different, different viewpoints, but more importantly in their research, you'll see that I believe in more documentation versus statements. There's certain things that I appeal to that maybe the planning director and the planning department did not. I think for me, transparency is really critical, because the public, out of their sense of feeling uncomfortable, really wants to know what's going on. So I think my bill does lend a little bit more towards the transparency. I would ask you to move both of them forward favorably and let the council kind of have to sort it through.
Yeah.
So that's my
3
recommendation.
minutes are
Thank you.
finished.
Great. Thank you for your testimony. Commissioners, do we have any questions? Any questions? No? Great, thank you. Do we have any other testimony today on this?
Chair,
item?
we have no in-person testimony on this item.
Okay, do we have anybody on Zoom for this item?
No Zoom testifiers.
Okay, great. Commissioners, do we have a motion for action?
Clarification, Chair.
Yes.
Are you taking it separately, each one, or each item 3 and 4? Or
We're just on 4. Just 4.
Okay, so we're doing 4 first.
Correct.
Thank you.
Is there a request for a legal consultation at this moment in time? Executive session? Okay, it looks like we're going to go into executives. Oh, can I have a motion to go into executive session, please? Do I have a second? Okay. Verbal,
Just to clarify, that's motion to go into executive session to ask questions of your, legal questions of your counsel.
Okay.
All-
all in favor? Aye. Great, thank you. We're going to go into executive session. Okay, so we're back from executive session. During that time, we had legal questions to ask counsel, which she answered for us. And we're all clear on that. Is there a motion?
I motion for a short recess.
All right, we have a motion for a short recess. Do I have a second? Okay, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we're gonna take like a 2 minute recess. Folks need a bathroom break. Thank you. Okay, great. We're back from recess. Zoom is up. Okay, Zoom is up. Do we have a motion on item agenda number 4?
I move that a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council on the proposed amendments to chapter 25 zoning articles 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 216 edition as amended. Docket number is PL CCI 2024 000009.
I second.
09 or 08? Did you say 9? Okay, okay, yep, okay. All right, and we have a second by Commissioner Perrin. All in favor, or do we have a discussion first? Any discussion on this? Okay, I guess we can go with roll call.
Thank you. The motion is to forward a favorable recommendation to the county council. Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog,
Aye.
Commissioner Takaki,
Aye.
Vice and Interim Chair Daniele.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
We're now on to agenda item number 3. The planning director has initiated an ordinance to amend chapter 25 zoning, articles 2, 4, 5, and 7 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2016 edition as amended, relating to telecommunication antennas and towers. The proposal is to remove the requirement for a use permit to establish telecommunication antennas and towers in certain zoning districts, add application requirements, and amend standards for the establishment of telecommunication antennas and towers. Now we have a staff presentation by Tracy Lee Camaro.
Thank you, Chair and members of the Windward Planning Commission. Before you today, we do have the Planning Director initiated bill related to telecommunication antennas and towers, which was an amendment to Chapter 25, Article 2, Article 4, Article 5, and Article 7 of the Hawaii County Code. This is a supplemental information report. This report supplements the Planning Director's background and recommendation report that was previously provided to the Windward and Leeward Planning Commissions. Just a quick timeline on it. So first, in August of 2024, the Planning Director initiated a bill to amend Chapter 25 related to telecommunication antennas and towers. In between September and October of 2024, the draft bill was considered by the Windward Planning Commission at its meetings on September 5th and October 3rd, and by the Leeward Planning Commission at its meeting on September 19, 2024. On October 15, 2024, the Planning Director of the Planning Department transmitted the Windward and Leeward Planning Commission's recommendations on the draft bill to the County Council for consideration. However, on October 18th, the Planning Department was informed that corrections were needed and necessary before it could proceed to the County Council. So in response, the Planning Department incorporated the feedback from the County Clerk's office and produced a revised draft bill as shown in your packet as Planning Department Exhibit 2B. Key updates in this draft include correcting of any drafting errors such as correcting terminology, spelling, grammar, and formatting errors. The use of the legislative drafting format is also included in this amendment, which also previously omitted the Hawaii County Code sections 25.592, 25.5.102, 25.5.112, and 25.5.122. Except for the omitted sections mentioned above, no other substantive changes were made to the draft bill when it was originally considered by the planning commissions. The Planning Director's original background report provides a high-level summary and rationale for the proposed amendments. The revised bill provides a precise structure and incorporates all of the omitted sections. It also ensures clarity in the amended text, and it also meets the legislative drafting format requirements. Therefore, the planning director is recommending that we forward a favorable recommendation to the county council on the planning director initiated bill relating to telecommunication antennas and towers at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the planning department? Do we have any testifiers on agenda item number 3?
No, Chair, there's no in-person testifiers.
Are there any testifiers on Zoom?
No, Chair, no Zoom testifiers.
Okay. Do we have a motion for action?
I move that a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council on the proposed amendments to chapter 25, article 2, article 4, article 5, and article 7 to the Hawaii County Code 2016 edition as amended, docket number PDI 2024-0008.
Okay, that was moved by Commissioner Perrin. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Deleuze. Discussion? Do we have any discussions on this? Okay, if not, roll call.
Thank you. The motion is to forward a favorable recommendation to the county council. Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylock,
Aye.
Commissioner Takaki,
Aye.
and Vice and Interim Chair Daniele.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, we're now on to new business. Agenda item number 5. Applicant Kirsten Frost Albrecht, PL-REZ-2024-000064 / amend res 2005-00019. Application for 10-year time extension to condition D, complete construction of change of zone ordinance number 06-28, which rezoned an 8-acre portion of a larger 24.495 acre parcel of land from agricultural 1 acre A-1A to neighborhood commercial 20,000 square feet CN-20. The subject property is located on the south side of Ponieva Street, approximately 1,300 feet from the east of its intersection with Kohana Street, Kona, Hawaii, South Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 3-2-3-3036, parcel 18. Staff presentation, please.
Thank you, Vice and Interim Chair Daniele. This is an amendment to the change of zone ordinance, as you mentioned, for Kristen Frost Albrecht. The subject property is shown by the red star, and it's located on the south side of Ponahawaii Street in the South Hilo district. So the applicant's requesting an amendment to change of zone ordinance number 0628 as follows. A 10-year time extension to condition D to complete construction. And the 10-year time extension would be from the effective date of this amendment. The reasons for the request are that the Food Basket acquired the subject property in April of 2022 with the intention of constructing the Hawaii Island Agricultural Innovation Park and Food Systems Campus, or AIP-FSC, on the 24.495 acre parcel to serve community partner organizations and the economy of Hawaii. And that given the change in project scope from the previous change of zone application and the lack of progress on constructing improvements, the food basket is requesting a longer 10-year timeframe to comply with condition D in order to complete the full scope of planned projects and to update the permitted use plan for the property. So this is the county zoning map, and you can see that the subject property outlined in red it's zoned agricultural 1 acre, but the permit area, or actually the rezone area, is designated by the dashed outline, and it's currently zoned commercial, CN 20. And surrounding properties are zoned single family in the yellow, multifamily in the brown color, agricultural and open in green, and there's other commercial properties shown in pink. The state land use designation for this entire area is urban, shown in pink. And the area is almost entirely medium density urban, which is the orange color, and there's some high density closer to Hilo Town. This is the applicant's site plan, and it shows you generally there are 2 phases, and it shows you what the uses proposed for each phase are. So you can see on the left side of the screen, phase A includes a Hawaii Island Community Food Center and Food Bank, an Agricultural Innovation Center, a shade house, and agricultural lands. And then in the lower portion of the slide, you see the designation for phase B, campus plan, and that includes the community center, agricultural support office center, and a farmers market pavilion. And the orange outline on their site plan corresponds with the rezone area, which was shown previously. And that's the area that is designated for this amendment, for this rezone amendment. And that includes those properties or those structures that you see. So the aerial photograph of the property, you can see, again, the parcel is outlined in red, and the rezone area is shown with the blue dashing, and it's on the south side of Punahou Street. It's directly across from 2 existing churches that have use permits. It's Makai of Komohana, the intersection with Komohana Street, where there's existing medical uses, and there are, you can see, residential single-family uses to the south of the property and to the east of the property. And these are views of the property and the street, access street, Punahou Street. So on your left, you see the view looking east with the subject property on the right of that slide. And on your right-hand side of the screen, that's looking west, looking Mauka, and you can see the property on the left-hand side of that slide. And the planning director's recommendation is a favorable recommendation with conditions. And that concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, I'm available to answer them.
Great. Thank you so much for that presentation. And now we have the applicant's presentation. Will the applicant or their representatives please come forward?
I have Representative Mark Krzyzanowski on Zoom.
Okay, we're going to take in-person testifiers first, and then we'll
Okay.
do Zoom. And yeah, the applicant can come up and make their presentation first, and then we'll take the testifier after that. Oh, okay, the representative. Okay, thanks for the clarification. So all 3 folks are representing the applicant. So let's go in person first, and then we can go to Zoom.
So
First, we have to swear you in. Please raise your right hand. You can do it at the same time. Do you swear to affirm or tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission? I do. Okay. Please speak directly into your microphone and state your name, the town that you reside in, and whom you represent.
I'm Kristen Frost Albrecht. I reside in Keau, and I'm representing the Food Basket Hawaii Islands Food Bank. And I'm actually, we're in support of this as it's written. I don't have a whole lot to add. I do want to say I'm really grateful for the help in understanding some of the terms. This is like a foreign language often. So tolling was new to me, but I think we have a good understanding of what that is now. We have one of our board members on Zoom, and then I have my colleague here who is actually the director of this project. So I'm going to let him speak. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Justin Clayton. I'm the project director. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Okay. My name is Justin Clayton. I'm the project director of what we call Ho'olaco, or the place that provides. That's the name we're giving to. Oh, excuse me. That's the name that was given to us for this specific project. So again, I'm with the Food Basket. I just wanted to reiterate that. So when we acquired this property in 2022, the zoning had already lapsed, right? So really we had to come in and actually request an addendum to extend that zoning 10 years. And so with that in mind, I think the report that was prepared was very thorough. I don't know if I have anything to add. We are in the midst of an environmental assessment, which is essentially complete. And so we're here to hopefully get it approval so we can start groundbreaking on this project.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, and I have one other thing to add. Have you received the background and recommendation reports from the planning department? Do you agree with the recommendations included and included the proposed conditions?
Yes, I've reviewed those documents and we agree. Yes.
Great, thank you. Zoom, would you like to add anything to this?
No, thank you, Commissioner, or Chair. So I'm here both representing the Board of Directors for the Food Basket and as a planning consultant by trade. We accept all the conditions that were outlined in by the director, by the planning department. Nothing to add, except that this project is greatly needed. The mission of the Food Basket is to end hunger. We want to put ourselves out of a job. And in order to do that, we need additional capacity for our island in the form of additional processing space, commercial space, agricultural space, and innovation. That's all I wanted to add. Thank you again.
Could you please state your name and the town that you reside in for the record?
My apologies. Mark Krasinowski, I reside in Captain Cook.
Great, thank you so much. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff or the applicant? No questions. Okay. Commissioner Parent has a question.
Okay. How long do you expect this project to take to be complete?
Yeah, so one thing to just mention is, so our project is going to require substantial funding that is yet to be raised. And so we've already have enough to complete pre-development work and probably some of the initial phase one. And so it's really contingent on fundraising and capital campaigns that are forthcoming. So in a perfect world, if we have our funding in line and according to our current timeline, I would say 8 years to 10 years. I think we were pushing 10 years just to have some sort of cushion. Realistically, we're hoping for 10 years to completion, or 8 years to completion.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
I would like to add to Justin's response, Chair, if possible.
Yes.
We are taking a phased approach. So as outlined in there, we kind of split it up into two main phases. However, there is a kind of a pre-soft phase in which we are not on the subject area that is up for rezone, but the remainder of the parcel where we intend to do ag operations, actually develop agricultural crops and start that level of work sooner than later. However, we recognize that we don't want to have an unfinished space. So the intent is that each phase will be done in a matter when we actually have funding to execute the work. So to just address the fact that we're not looking to start a foundation, try to raise money, do framing, try to raise money, do finishing. The intent is to raise all the money for each phase so that it can be completed in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other questions or any testifiers on this? Okay, if not, the applicants can take a seat in the audience. Thank you. Commissioners, do we have a motion for action? Okay, we're going to clarify the record that there are no testifiers for agenda item number 5. Okay, do we have a motion for action?
I move that a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council on the application for a change of zone for docket number PLREZ 2024-000064, amending REZ 2005-000019 based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Thank you, Commissioner Perrin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Deleuze. Discussion. Oh, right, discussion. Yeah, discussion.
Chair,
Yes.
if I could,
Yes.
bring a point. There was a recent change in the zoning code, chapter 25 of the Hawaii County Code, in relation to conditions of change of zones. And this is more for the applicant's awareness moving forward. And it is out of section 25-244 to A2B. And it says, basically it talks about when there's a conditions in an ordinance, the council changed the language to say the time during which required plans, reports, studies, or relevant permit applications are under review for approvals by governmental agencies shall not count towards the deadline established in the ordinance. And so there's a process in that section to be able to submit to the planning department justifying that tolling. So it does not take away from your 10-year period. So that's just for your information. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Darrell. Any other discussion, comments? I'd just like to say, I think it's a great project. I think that we actually need more of this on this island. I like the setup and everything you folks are doing down there. So good luck to you guys. Thank you. Staff, roll call, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog,
Aye.
Commissioner Takaki,
Aye.
and Vice Interim Chair Daniele.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes with 5 votes.
Okay, on to agenda item number 6, applicant Kermit Johnson, PL-SMA-2024-000065. Application for special management area use permit to construct a two-story, 6,402 square foot single-family residence with 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and related improvements on a 27,878 square foot shoreline parcel was within the special management area. The subject property is located on the Mackay side of Alaheo Road, approximately 100 feet south of its intersection with Maku Drive, Hawaii Paradise Park, Block 11, Kau, Puna District, Hawaii, TMK 3, 1-5-031, parcel 67. And we have Alex Roy to give us the staff presentation this afternoon.
Thank you, Interim Chair. Okay, as it was mentioned, this is for Kermit Johnson, Special Management Area Use Permit application. Here's the proposed project's location. You can see that it's on kind of the south side along the shoreline in Hawaiian Paradise Park. At this time, the applicant's requesting approval to construct a 2-story, 6,402 square foot single-family residence. It includes 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, kitchen, kitchenette, living room, and 3-car garage. The project will be set back approximately 50 feet or more from the shoreline, which was certified in 2022. And just a note that applicant actually pursued an additional shoreline certification to ensure that the project won't be impacted by shoreline processes. So that was very helpful. Water will be provided by an on-site private well, which he'll be applying for through Seaworm, and then wastewater will be managed by a DOH-approved individual wastewater system. So very typical. The county zoning, as we can see, for the entire area is agricultural 1 acre. I know a lot of the homes in this area we brought before you guys, especially along Alaheo Road. State land use for this parcel specifically is ag. You can see some parcels remained within the conservation district. At one time, these were all within that, and over time they've been taken out. And then the larger state parcel down at the bottom has some conservation district, but this parcel is all agricultural state land use. LUPEG, as typical, shows open, which we see a lot for the shoreline areas, covers 300 to 500 feet. And then Malka of that is rural. Here's an aerial photograph of the proposed project site. You can kind of take note of some of the existing development, specifically the home next door, which was built prior to our 40-foot setback rule. So this was actually within the 20-foot setback. And so that property, this property here next door, the proposed project will be set back much further and takes into account the 40-foot setback. Also note the bench here. We all know that along this area there is gathering that happens, and the applicant has no intention of stopping that. In fact, he's noted opihi pickers down there risking their life. Here's another aerial photograph just from the other direction, looking high. You can really see the built out nature of this portion of HPP. In fact, a couple of this property over here, we recently did and is moving through the process of construction. So, but the proposed project parcel is here outlined in red, just to kind of give you a view of the neighborhood. Here's the site plan. I've marked on the site plan the 40-foot shoreline setback, so you can see that the applicant is pushed the home even further back from that, and that's with the shoreline certification. It's a pretty modest home, pretty standard for this area, driveway, septic system. Take note, there's no Malco to Mackay access on this parcel specifically. So I had spoke to, there is an access point. Let me just go back one slide. Here on parcel 70, so 3 parcels up, I had mentioned in the background that as part of the approval for this development, they provide a shoreline access. So that would be the closest Malco to Mackay access. And then we have free and unfettered lateral shoreline access in this area. Here's a site plan, cross section. You know, this is on the top is the front, the street side. So what's going to be visible from the street looking Mackay, and then the side view. Here's a site photo of the road. This is the view of the property entrance from Alaheo Road. The road actually becomes unpaved and gravel just at that point. Right by the subject property. Right now, it's pretty overgrown with minor grasses and shrubs. And then here's the view of Alaheo Road intersection with Maku'u Drive, looking south, and the subject property would be on the left-hand side of Alaheo Road, just down from the intersection. So a pretty straightforward project. The only reason it's really here before you guys is because the valuation exceeded the 500,000. At this time, the director is recommending approval with the stated conditions for PL SMA 2024-000065. And I can take any questions.
Thank you for that presentation. Do we have any questions for staff?
I have a question. So you said that they're going to seek approval for access to the private well through Seaworm.
That's the typical process.
Okay,
So an applicant has to apply with the Commission on Water Resource Management for a well permit. And that is a requirement. So he'll go through Seaworm to get that permit, and then I'll get a copy of it and have to note that an SMA was approved. So we get a kind of a double check every time a well permit is requested. I get a copy of that permit and are asked to do a review. So so that would be part of the process.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that in order for them to get the approval from Seaworm, they have to get the SMA approval first. Does it matter which one comes first?
Not really, not necessarily, but it is a check for Seaworm. They always check with us, and there's a lady named Queenie over there who does a good job of keeping us up to date on any wells. And we're seeing a lot more of these wells going in to HPP. People are starting to, move away from catchment because of the difficulties and dryness. So we're starting to see a lot more wells in this area.
Nice.
And so the private wells, while good, it's still, it still requires UV, things like that, because of what's going on in underground. But Seaworm always checks with us for sure.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Commissioners, any other questions for staff? Okay, if none, will the applicant or their representative please come forward? Good afternoon. I'm going to we'll swear both of you in at the same time. So please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission?
Yes.
Thank you. Please speak directly into your microphone and state your name, the town you reside in, and whom you represent. Is there anything you would like to tell the commission about your application? Also, have you received the background and recommendation report from the planning department? Do you agree with the recommendations including the proposed conditions?
My name is Keith Winnie. I'm an architect for Mr. Kermit Johnson, and we have received the report and we agree with the report. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Could you just please state the town you reside in?
Kailua-Kona.
Thank you. The applicant, do you have?
And I'm Kermit Johnson, the applicant, and
In the town you reside in, sir?
Hilo, Hawaii.
Thank you.
And my only comments is I met with the state people this morning concerning a renewal of the shoreline survey, and they agreed it's absolutely going to be signed off very quickly.
Okay, staff, commissioners, do you have any questions?
Question.
Yes.
So is this gonna be your new family home?
No, it's going to be a single family home, but at my age or our age, we always want to make room enough for a caregiver. And that's why the two levels, so at least we can have that. If you don't build a home when you're older, especially with an option for a caregiver, you have a problem.
Thank you for sharing.
I had a question. On your renderings, the windows are blue. Is that, I was just curious. I've never seen windows in a rendering or elevations blue. Is that like representative of some special glass or something?
No special
Oh,
glass.
okay.
It's just instead of using black,
Okay, thanks.
blue looks better.
Yeah, okay. Okay, if there are no more questions, I'm going to ask for a motion for action, please. Yeah, great. Thank you for your testimony, and please have a seat back in the audience. Do we have any public testimony on this?
There's no in-person testimony.
Do we have any testimony on Zoom for this agenda item?
Chair, no Zoom testifiers.
Great, thank you. Do we have a motion for action on this agenda item?
Move to approve.
Are you moving to approve the application for special management area SMA use permit docket number PL SMA 2024-00065 be approved based on the planning director's recommendations, which shall be adopted?
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second on the motion. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, staff, roll call, please.
Okay, Commissioner Takaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
and Vice and Interim Chair Daniele.
Aye.
Motion carries with 5 votes.
Great, thank you. Okay, so on to agenda item number 7, applicate Big Island Candies, Inc., PL-REZ-2024-00065 / amended REZ 2005-00023. Application for an 8-year time extension to construct C, time requirement to Commerce Construction in amendments to conditions D, E, and F, roadway infrastructure improvements of change of zone ordinance number 16-85, which rezoned approximately 45,450 square feet of land from single-family residence, 10,000 square feet RS-10 to general commercial, 20,000 square feet or CG-20 zoning district to allow additional production, storage facility, and related uses. The subject properties are located along the Mackay side of Kekuanao Street between Kaupu Street and in Hanano Street. Hanano Street, Waikea House Lots, Waikea South, Hilo, Hawaii, TMK 32-2-03, parcel 66, 78, and 79. And we will have a presentation by staff.
Mahalo Vice and Interim Chair Daniel. This is an application for an amendment to change of zone ordinance number 1685. The subject property, as outlined in red, is located in the South Hilo district of Hawaii Island, more specifically in the Waiakea House Lots area, Makai of Kekuanoa Street. The applicant's original request was a change of zoning from single-family residential 10,000 square feet to general commercial 20,000 square feet to allow an additional production storage facility and related uses. An approximately 25,000 to 26,000 square foot two-story production storage facility was proposed on parcels 78 and 79. An open area for visitors was proposed on parcel 66. Currently, parcels 78 and 79 are being used as unpaved employee parking lot, and parcel 66 is improved with 2 dwellings, which are being used as rentals. The applicant is requesting amendments to change of zone ordinance number 1685 as follows. An 8-year time extension to condition C, which was the time requirement to commence construction from the effective date of this amendment. An amendment to conditions D, E, and F, which were roadway infrastructure improvements, to require completion prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for further development of the property, rather than within 8 years from the effective date of change of zone ordinance number 1685. So these are the full conditions. Condition C, which was a time requirement to commence construction. The material to be deleted is bracketed and struck through. The material to be added is underscored. So construction of the proposed improvements shall be completed within 8 years from the effective date of this ordinance. This time period shall include securing final plan approval from the planning director in accordance with the zoning code. Plans for any new improvements shall identify proposed structures, fire protection measures, access roadway, driveway and parking stalls. Landscaping shall be indicated on the plans for the purpose of mitigating any potential adverse noise or visual impacts to adjoining parcels. Landscaping shall be provided in accordance with the requirements of the planning department's rule number 17, which is the landscaping requirements. Again, the material to be deleted is bracketed and struck through. The material to be added is underscored. This is condition D, which was the future road widening strip. A 5-foot wide future road widening strip along the Hinano Street and Laukapu Street frontages, and a 10-foot wide future road widening strip along the Kekuanoa Street frontage shall be subdivided and dedicated to the county prior to issuance of occupancy permits for the further development of the property. Condition E, curb gutter sidewalk. The applicant shall provide full improvements to the project's frontage along Kekuanoa Street and Laukapu Street, consisting of, but not limited to, pavement widening with concrete curb, gutter, and sidewalk, drainage improvements, and any required utility relocation, meeting with the approval of the Department of Public Works, prior to issuance of occupancy permits for the further development of the property. The improvement shall be located within the future road widening setback. And condition F, which is in relation to corner radius, provide a minimum 20-foot corner radius at the intersection of the future road widening setback lines along Kekuano'oa Street and Laukapu Street. Provide a 33-foot corner radius conforming to the back edge of the existing sidewalk at the intersection of the future road widening setback lines along Kekuano'oa Street and Hinano Street. Prior to the issuance of occupancy permits for the further development of the property. And again, the material to be deleted is bracketed and struck through. The material to be added is underscored. And this is the reason for the request. So after being granted the original rezoning in 2006, the applicant halted design and construction work due to the effects of the economic downturn in 2008, the 2018 Kilauea eruption, and the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the county zoning map. For reference, the subject properties are outlined in yellow and are located in the South Hilo district of Hawaii Island, more specifically in the Waikea House Lots area. The subject properties are zoned general commercial, 20,000 square feet, as indicated by the maroon color. Other zoning in the area is single-family residential, 10,000 square feet, industrial commercial mix, 20,000 square feet, and neighborhood commercial, 10,000 and 20,000 square feet. For reference, the subject properties are outlined in yellow. The state land use designation for the properties and the surrounding area is urban, as indicated by the pink color. For reference, the subject properties are outlined in yellow. The land use pattern allocation guide map designation for the subject properties are high density urban, as indicated by the red color. This is the site plan. For reference, the subject properties are outlined by blue and red dashed lines. The properties outlined in blue are currently being used as unpaved employee parking which is towards the top of the screen. The property outlined in red has 2 dwellings which are being rented, which is towards the bottom right-hand side of the screen. The applicant does not have planned uses for the subject properties at this time, other than what is currently on the property. This slide shows an aerial view of the subject properties for reference, outlined in yellow, and an expanded view of the surrounding area. For reference, Kekuano'oa Street runs east to west toward the bottom of the slide. Laukapu Street runs north to south towards the middle of the slide. And Hinano Street also runs north to south to the left of Laukapu Street. I would show it to you with, oh, there's a mouse. So this is Kekuano'oa running east to west. Laukapu is running north and south. And then Hinano Street is running north to south also. Yeah. The area surrounding the subject properties are a mix of residential and commercial uses. This slide shows aerial views of the subject properties, again for reference, are outlined in yellow. The photo on the left of the slide shows an expanded view of the properties. The photo on the right of the slide shows a closer view of the subject properties. This is a photo of the intersection of Kekuano'oa and Laukapu Street. This photo shows where the unpaved employee parking lot is located. This is a photo of the intersection of Kekuanaoa and Hinano Street. The image showing the existing single-family dwellings on parcel 66. The photo in the top left of the slide is a view from Kekuanaoa Street looking west. The photo in the bottom right of this slide is a view from Kekuanaoa Street looking east. The director is recommending a favorable recommendation to the County Council to amend ordinance number 1685. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Great. Thank you for that presentation. Commissioners, we have any questions for staff? Okay, if not, will the applicant or their representatives please come forward? Okay, I'm going to swear both of you in. Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth on this matter now before the Windward Planning Commission?
I do.
Great. Please speak directly into your microphone and state your name, the town you reside in, and whom you represent. Is there anything you would like to tell the commission about your applications? Also, have you received the background recommendation reports from the planning department? And do you agree with those recommendations, including the proposed conditions?
I'll go first. Anyway, Tom Ye, counsel for Big Island Candies, resident of Gila. So staff has done a great job in their background report and recommendations. We don't really have anything further to add to that. The conditions are acceptable. You know, just to kind of summarize, the challenges for Big Island Candies over the years has been kind of numerous, and some of them certainly not anticipated. You know, we had the recession in 2008, COVID, lava flows, inflation, and labor shortages, and then also a downturn in the Japanese tourism market, which plays a substantial role in their production. So in trying to kind of balance, you know, the cost not only of increasing production, but also the road improvements that go along with it. You know, right now, to the credit of Big Island Candies, has been a very good, stable economic driver in the community, very well received by the community. But extending yourself outward a little bit beyond what, you know, your safety factors are, that becomes kind of a stretch. So that's why they need this extension of time. And I see that the planning department incorporated the new tolling provisions in the code, which will help also. But that's all we have to say. And then Mr. Ikawa is here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alan Nicole. I'm the chairman and CEO of Big Island Candies, and I'd like to thank the planning department for doing all their homework and their favorable recommendation. Thank you very much.
Could you just state the town you reside in for the record, please?
Hilo, Hawaii.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? The commissioners have any questions for staff or the applicant?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say this. I just want to say thank you for doing what you folks do, and thank you for withstanding the test of time and sticking it through these hard times. Definitely, they were unplanned for, but you folks stuck around and you took care of the community. And so I hope the community will back you folks up and support you in all that you do, because you are definitely a milestone in this community, or cornerstone, sorry. So thank you for all that you folks do.
Thank you. We're able to be in business for 47 years, and that's through the support of our local community. So like Eddie Fukuda always told me, you got to give back. You got to give back to the community that supports you. So that's our mantra. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other questions, applicant or staff? Okay, if not, the applicants can go have a seat back in the audience, please. Do we have any public testimony on this agenda item?
Chair, we have no in-person testimony.
And do we have any testimony on Zoom for this agenda item?
There are no Zoom testifiers.
Great, thanks. Okay. Do we have a motion for action?
I move that a favorable recommendation be forwarded to the county council on the application for change of zone for docket number PLREZ 2024-000065, amending REZ 2005-000023 based on the planning director's recommendation, which shall be adopted.
Okay, it was moved by Commissioner Perrin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Deleuze. Discussion? No discussion? Okay, staff roll call, please.
Motion is a favorable recommendation to the county council for PL REZ 2024-000065. Commissioner Perrin,
Aye.
Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog,
Aye.
Commissioner Takaki. Aye. Vice and Interim Chair Daniele.
Aye.
Motion passes with 5 ayes.
And just to clarify for the record, as stated by the maker of the motion, that was also to amend REZ 2005-00023 based on the planning director's recommendations, which shall be adopted.
Yes, that was.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Planning Director's report, report on special management area SMA determinations and minor permits issued by the Planning Director for the month of November 2024 report. The SMA reports were distributed via email. Does anyone have any questions on the SMA report for staff? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. The next item is okay, so before we get to elections of officers, we have our former commissioner and former chair, Dennis Lin, sitting in the audience. If you'd like to come up, I think the staff has a presentation and a certificate for you. Oh, they did. Oh.
Good afternoon, Dennis Lin. I live in Hilo. But I just wanted to say thank you so much, Windward Planning Commission and Planning Department staff. You guys have been great. It's been an honor to serve for the past, 4 years? I wish all of you the best of luck as you guys journey through the general plan. But just, I had such a gratifying position that you guys are in, and really the decisions that you guys make a big difference in our community. So thank you very much for serving.
And yeah. And Dennis, good luck on your new adventure. That's wonderful. So good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to working with the planning department.
Thanks, Dennis. Take care. Okay, so now we have election of officers 2025. Do we have a motion and a second to open nominations for position of chairperson for 2025.
I'd like to open up a motion to move in to selecting someone for our new chair position.
Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Chair Commissioner Perrin and seconded by Commissioner Baylog to open nomination for position of chairperson 2025. Discussion.
And nominate Commissioner Danelli for chair.
I think that's the next one. Ask anyone if they'd like to
Sorry.
nominate themselves or anyone else for chairperson. Okay. Is there anyone else? No? Oh, okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Okay, now you can nominate. Yeah, now you can.
All right. I move to nominate Commissioner Danelli for the position of chair.
Second.
All right, that was pretty easy. Okay, so it was moved by Commissioner Perrin and seconded by Commissioner Deleuze. Are there any other nominations? Okay, if not, discussions. All I can say is I hope I can follow in Dennis's footsteps. That's a questions. Okay, I accept the nomination. I need a motion to close nominations for a position of chair.
Move to close.
Second, okay. Direct staff for roll call. I guess we just all say aye.
Thank you,
Right.
Vice Chair.
Okay.
I can do a roll call vote.
Okay,
Give me just 1 minute. Okay. I believe Commissioner Perrin, you nominated, correct?
I did. Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Deleuze,
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog,
Aye.
Commissioner Takaki,
Aye.
and Vice Chair and Interim Chair Daniele.
aye.
Okay, the motion carries 5-0.
Great, thank you. Now we're going to start this all over again for vice chair. So I need a nomination to open nominations for position of vice chair 2025.
Nominate.
I need a motion to open nominations. Great. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion moved by Commissioner Deleuze and a second by Commissioner Takaki. All in favor, verbally? Aye. Now we have nominations.
Nominate Commissioner Perrin.
I will second that. Are there any other nominations?
Just to avoid any, what's the word I'm looking for? Conflict, I'll second that motion.
Okay. So we have a second, which we have. Okay, second. Okay, so it was moved by Commissioner Perrin. No, Commissioner Deleuze. It was second by Commissioner Takaki. And are you willing to accept, Commissioner Perrin, the role of vice chair?
I will accept.
Great. Any other motions for nominations? Okay, if not, now we have a nomination to close. Motion to close nominations.
So move.
Okay, I need a second on that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now we have agenda for next meeting. Oh, we need a roll call vote for the nomination?
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
So the motion is to nominate Commissioner Perrin as Vice Chair for 2025. Commissioner DeLuz.
Aye.
Commissioner Takaki.
Aye.
Commissioner Baylog.
Aye.
Commissioner Perrin.
Aye.
And Vice Chair and Interim Chair Daniele.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries.
Okay, that was fast. Okay, so ask, do commissioners have any items that they would like to agendaize for the future meetings? And or agenda items for next meeting?
Chair, we have no items scheduled for your January 2nd regular meeting. So we'll be canceling that meeting.
Okay. Okay, so I guess the next thing, announcements, the Thursday, January 2nd, 2025 meeting is canceled. And if there's no further business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Just quick question. So we're not having a general plan meeting either on the second.
No,
Okay.
but we'll discuss that more at your next meeting at 5.
Okay, thank you.
So the next regular meeting will be February 6th.
Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, and I need a second.
Second.
Okay, so by all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. At 3:45 PM.
The closed captions transcript will be terminated shortly, and those who wish to save the transcript should do so now.